Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, this video is back another Cardify Vanguard Ezel on the Vanity weekly review. So if you guys enjoyed, don't like, comment, subscribe, and don't pitch. Let's go start, shall we? Today we got a lot of reveals because I recorded earlier than expected for last week's video, which involved me to have a bunch of leftover cards from Ragnarok, and then we keep getting freaking like 10 reveals each day to the point where now I'm loaded up with reveals. So let's go ahead and get started and let's waste less time. First up, we have our starter for our newest ride line for Ragnarok, which is Zeus ride line. So grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base, auto one's point for 1 second, draw a card. It's just called Zeus. To be frank with you, I kind of expected more from this for a card that's called Zeus, God of Thunder. None of its higher grades except for one of them makes me think of what it's actually called, but it's an interesting card, so I'll give it that. Next up, we're in I'm in Love with Zeus. Card I will pretend doesn't exist. Grade 1 boost, 8k power, 5k shield. Auto is rode upon by Zeus. Look at top 7. Sorry, when this unit rides upon Zeus, the starter, not when it's rode upon by Zeus. Look at top 7 out of Zeus unit or a Zeus order from among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. So cool, you get a Zeus order or a Zeus unit. So, you know, your grade 2 and grade 1 of the ride line, or maybe your persona rides, or maybe even your orders, which the deck has, is really nice that you can add them to hand. And can use rear guard during your turn. This unit gets plus 2k. Okay. Standard ride line ability and crossover decks, nothing too special about it, but it's still a nice card, and I like it for it. I wish its art was more appealing, but it's still a good card. Then we have the fist that surpassed time, Zeus. In my opinion, this thing should be the main grade 3 and the only thing that I think of when I see Zeus. I also think this is Master Roshi from Dragon Ball, and all of you can see why. Grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, when it rides upon I'm in Love with Zeus, look at top 5, call grade 2 or lower card from among them to rear and shuffle your deck. So you get a top 5 this time. You can call a card. Granted, it has to be a god and it has to be a grade 2 or lower, but it doesn't have to be a Zeus unit, so that's really nice. And auto van or rear, when this unit attacks, if you have 3 or more front row god units, this unit gets plus 5k power. I like that. Weirdly enough, I'm actually interested in this ride line, because remember, we're getting Ragnarok in English, and I'm actually interested in this ride line because of that. It has a unique grade 2 ability that works on Vanguard or Rear Guard, and it gets you top 5, and I actually like its art. So one of them in the ride deck, and maybe 2 of in the main deck, just because it can be useful. Then we have our main grade 3 of the ride line, which is Godfather of Cosmos, Zeus. Grade 3, 200 persona ride, 13k base, act Vanguard once per turn, rest of Rear Guard, search after 1 Zeus order, add it to hand and shuffle your deck. And auto van, when this unit attacks counterboss 1, choose one of your Rear Guards with Zeus in its card name and stand it. Okay, so I have no notes about this. First up, how did it go from this to this? Like, he went from buff as hell to skinny as fuck, but then, like, he rests as a rear guard and gets you a free order. That is amazing. No counterboss, no soul boss, no discard, no nothing. You rest a rear guard, you get an order, and then on swing, stand a Zeus rear guard. You can rest the Zeus rear guard, and granted, you won't get attacks out of it unless it was in the back row, but still. Or you could just call a Zeus rear guard to the front row, get 4 attacks, and abuse the crap out of your opponent. Either way, Zeus is amazing, and I love this card, so I give it 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the ride deck. Like, I am actually interested by this ride line, and the fact that he's like throwing a punch makes me like him even more. Then we have Almighty Omnipotent God Zeus, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear guard when it attacks. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Zeus in its card name, and you have 2 or more face down damage cards, this unit gets plus 5 for the turn. I'm sorry, when the fuck did this thing turn into, 2 or more face down damage? I mean, okay, it doesn't require full face down damage, it's just questioning why it has 2 or more face down damage, but okay, free 5, you can combine it with this one, it gets it for 10. And auto rear, when this unit attack hits, if all your front rear guards are at rest, soul blast 1, countercharge 1. Okay, so this thing attacked last, you know, or at least last for the rear guards at least. You get a countercharge out of it if it hit, which is really nice. It's easy to pay off, especially because this deck doesn't really counterblast too much, because to my knowledge, outside of the orders, this is the only one that counterblasts, so I like this card. I think it's good. 4-up. I genuinely might actually build a Zeus deck just because I find this interesting and funny. Then we have Zeus's final form, Adamas, grade 2 normal order, Zeus. Play it if you have a Vanguard Zeus in its card name. Choose a card with Zeus in its card name from your soul, call it to rear guard until end of turn, all your front row units get plus 5. Okay, I would say that's weak, but 1, that doesn't involve a counterboss. 2, you get any card with Zeus in its card name from your soul, call it to rear. Cool, so this thing can come out of soul and be buff as hell. And then finally, the front row gets plus 5. Granted, it's not like Zorga, who's a continuous, the Vanguard gets the skill, but that's still pretty good, as in you get restands out of it. Your opponent doesn't have to be at grade 3. You can play this at grade 2. My only thing with this is, what final form BS is this? This doesn't look like a final form. This looks like he's awakening to his final form, but not his final form. But okay, this order seems nice, and you can search it out with Zeus. I don't see no reason not to run out of 4 because it's easy to search. Then we have Soul Bearer Zeus. This creepy bastard. Grade 3, normal order. Zeus if you have a Vanguard, Zeus in its card name, Counterblast 1. Until end of turn, your Vanguard gets a crit. Okay, so Vanguard's dangerous, and all your front movies get plus 10. Okay, so Persona rides, plus an actual Persona ride, that's 20k to front row, and the Vanguard has double critical, and someone's restanding this turn, especially if this is your Vanguard, but okay. Then you may discard a card from your hand. If you do not choose 2 face-up cards, your damage zone, turn them face down. Okay, so it's Counterblast 2, basically, if you don't use if you don't discard, which is a fair cost. Either you discard or you Counterblast. It's a good card. It genuinely is. But the thing is, I think sometimes you might just not want to discard because this just gets a free +5 out of it for the turn. But either way, this order is nice, and I like it. I do think it's a 4 of. I know some people are going to say, oh, no, you shouldn't run the orders like that. You should run them like a 3-4 or like 2-4, not 4-4. Yeah, we all know I'm going to run it at 4-4 because these both are good in their own situations, and I'm pretty sure this deck can't search orders really quickly outside of this thing over here. So I'm well, and this. So maybe I will just run it at 2 or like 3-3. Then we move on to some of our cards before we start going over premium reveals, which is Diabolos, Diver, Emmet. So last time we got reveals for the Festival Collection, now we're getting some more Festival Collection reveals. First up, he's a grade 3, Twin Jack Persona, 13k base, items placed on rear guard, Counterblast 1, choose one of your Vanguards, boost in its card name, and this and that you get +5 for the turn, and then if you chose a grade 4, counter charge 1, soul charge 1. Cool, way to get soul for Bruce, way to get power. My only thing with this is he requires grade 4, and if you guys know my opinion on grade 4 Bruce, I don't like grade 4 Bruce. I don't think he's that good. If you want to run grade 4 Bruce, cool for you. Like, he gets a restand, and that's cool. But, like, I expected more from him. And as much as I like his art, his skill is not worth it to me. Like, I still run him, but that's because it's grade 4 Bruce. Literally because of the art and nothing else, so. So my idea is to give this a 2 of. But if you want to run it more, you can. But I think 2 of is fine if you choose to run it. Now on to premium collection reveals, because Bushy decided to reveal premium cards. This is why I have so many reveals to do. So first up we have Dark Knight Crom, grade 4, triple drive, 15k base, act Vanguard, once per turn, retire 2 rear guards, your opponent chooses 3 rear guards, kills them, up to 3 by the way. If they did not retire 3, until end of turn, this unit gets out of van once per turn. At the end of the battle, they attack something, Counterblast 1, retire 2, stand this unit, and it gets +10. Okay, doesn't lose drives, can nuke rear guards, and doesn't really require much from you. It does require you to technically nuke 4 rear guards in total and counterblast 1, but it is a really good skill. And the best part is, it gets +10 if they didn't nuke 3, so that's pretty nice. And my only thing with this is, 1, I thought this was going to be a Revenger. It is not a Revenger. But 2, if your opponent chooses not to retire 3, yeah, you get a benefit out of it, but at the same time, like, who's not going to retire 3? Because at least when you're fighting against me, I'm going to retire 3 all the time, and that never will come back to bite me in the ass, because I always have 3 rear guards to kill. So unless you actively make it so that I can't retire 3, then, yeah, Gronk's not really that good. But it's nice that it gives the opponent the choice, because either, they sack 3 and lose some of their boosters and our swingers or interceptors, etc., or they don't do it, but you get a restand of it and they might die from it. In my opinion, I think you should just always sack 3, but if you don't have 3 because you're playing in Shadow Paladins and just going to nuke your rear guards before they use this ability, then yeah, good luck surviving it. Either way, Gronk's amazing. All I would do is wish it could flip a unit because I like G units that can flip, but I will still give it a benefit of the doubt and say it's a good 2 of copy. Then we have Conquering Supreme Dragon, Exterminate Dragon, grade 4, triple drive, 15k base. This is what I call the evolution of, Demolition Dragon and Gauntlet Buster Dragon, because look at it. Hands are Gauntlet, Dragon itself is definitely Demolition. Auto is placed on Vanguard, Soul Boss 1, draw a card for each of your opponents, open for rear guard circles. Okay, typically that most likely will be 2 at the moment because you're immediately placing this on Van, but, 2 is still good. Even if it's 2, it might even be more than 2 depending on what your opponent did last turn, so that's good. And I act Vanguard once per turn, counterblast 1, and all of your front row gets +10 for the turn until end of your turn for each of your opponent's front row open rearguard circles. So draw God knows how many cards, nuke their front row, counterblast 1, your front row gets like at least 3 front triggers on it, or 2 front triggers, so yeah, I don't know how Narukami was in premium. Like, in my opinion, they never had a power problem, but if for some reason they did have a power problem, guess what? This solves it. So, once more, wish it flipped, but it's still good, and I give it a 2 for that. Then we have Dark Dragon, Deep Griever Dragon, a G-Guard for Shadow Paladin. Grade 4, 15k shield, G-Guardian, auto when it's placed on guard circle. Choose up to 5 grade 1s from your drop, put them to bottom, and this unit gets plus 5k shield until end of battle for each card play. If you put 5 counterblast 1, choose one of your units, it cannot be until end of battle. So this thing reminds me of Bronak, who was my favorite G-Guard back in the day. If you don't remember what she does, she's placed, which on place, look at top 5, call all grade 1s, call any number of grade 1s from them to guard circle, send the rest to bottom. So this pretty much is like good for her, because she would put them in a drop, and then you can put them right back. And not to mention, gets a butt ton of shit out of it. And if you put back 5 and that still was enough to block the attack, you can just counterblast 1 and make it a PG. All around, Deep Griever is good. He can recycle, he can get you shield, he can get you defensives. All around a good G-Guard, and I give it a 2 of. Then we have Sky Guardian Supreme Dragon Counteract Dragon. Literally an hour before this card got released, I said to my friend, God, I wish Impede allowed you to pick your opponent's units that you bind, or like they would be at least forced to bind the front row. Guess what? We got this. So grade 4, 15k shield, G-Guardian, autos put on guard circle. Your opponent chooses up to 2 of the front rear guards, binds them, and if you bound 2 or less for this effect, this unit gets plus 10k shield. If they bound 1 or less, they get, they bound less than 1, this gets plus 10k, another 10k shield. So if they bound 0, this thing gets plus 20 shield. I literally said I wish they had a way to force out guard from hand. I mean, not guard from hand. I wish they had a way to force out the binding from front row. Yeah, this does, or at least gives you a frick ton of shit out of it, so the Counteract is amazing. I love it, and I'm shoving it 2 of. Screw you, Bulwark. This thing's so good, and I predicted it the hour before it was released. Then it's back to speed rounding. Watchman of the Apocalypse, Heimdall. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto placed on rear guard, both you and your opponent countercharge 1. I don't know how to feel about this. Both players get a countercharge. My question is this: why are we getting so many countercharge and crossover decks, but we're not getting these in the regular decks? This would be so good in regular. You could just give it to like Brankgate or something, and all of them would be, everyone would be able to countercharge. This thing's good. You know, you are getting a benefit to your opponent, but at the same time, you're getting a free countercharge yourself. So I don't know, 3 of. You know, it doesn't matter if your opponent's getting benefit as long as you can benefit out of it more. So that's my idea on it. Then we have Goddess of Beauty, Aphrodite. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear guard when in your other guard attacks. Rest this unit, it gets plus 5 for the battle. Okay, so 3k less power than this unit, but like if the column it's in currently won't hit, then you can arrest it and then give 5k to a column that needs the 5k to hit, or just wants to make it a 5k more block, so that's nice. And auto backward rear guard when your unit's attack hits a vanguard, soul boss 1 stand this unit. Okay, there are many ways you can use that. You can boost this thing normally with another unit and then stand it when the attack hits, because it's not once per turn, so you could just keep doing this and then give 5k to your other column units just to get a frick ton of power out of it. Downside is this involves you having 2 soul at all times, but if you have 2 soul at all times, your opponent just starts taking hits for no apparent reason, you get plus 5k power. So Aphrodite is really nice, and I like it. It's a good grade 1, 4 over 3 of in a god deck. Then we have Cosmowinger, Unibird Galaxy. We all probably saw this already with different fights revealed, but just for those of you who don't know, Cosmowinger Unibird Galaxy is a Dimensional Police grade 4 with triple drive and 15k base. Continuous, this unit gets plus 15, continuous, this thing gets plus 10k power for each of your card and total among your damage and rear guards. So if you have 5 damage, this thing immediately hits 80-something thousand without force numbers. Wait, no, without force numbers, if you're on a 13k base without force markers, it's a 78k column if you're at 5 damage without rear guards. Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's going to be a lot more. Even if you're not at 5 damage, you're definitely going to have enough rear guards to make it that big. Burst, auto van, once per turn when this unit attacks, turn a card in your G-zone face up. If you have 50 or greater power on this unit until end of turn that gets a crit, that is straight up guaranteed just by its ability, because let's see, strides on top of any grade 3 that has 13k base immediately becomes a 28. You just need 3 rear guards or 3 damage cards or somewhere in between that, and this thing immediately gets an extra crit. And if you have 100k, which is almost guaranteed, get 5 rear guards, get 3 damage, easy 100k, boy gets 2 drives. So quintet drive, God knows how big of a number, with double critical. And all of this can be done on first ride. So PG, just PG this. Don't even question it. Amazing grade 4, 4 of. No one even wants to criticize this card. Then we have Giant Armored Beast Giragamelgos, grade 4, 15k base, 15k shield, great G Guardian, autos placed on guard circle, soul boss 1, chooses up to 2 grade 3 normal units from your drop zone, add them to hand, and this unit gets plus 5k shield for the battle for each card put to your hand. So that's really nice. You know, you in Dimension Police, one of the main things is that, yeah, you have a lot of stride fodder with grade 3s, but a lot of your cards require grade 3s for the skills to go off. So, you know, ditch your grade 3s for skills or like strides, and then you can fetch them right back, or you can soul blast a grade 3 that ended up in your soul, get it right back, still get defensives, and if you're on like Dilaner or you have Geomaglass in your guard zone, you just got more shield back to your hand along with G-Guard fodder, or stride fodder, sorry. All around, Geomaglass is a really good card for Dimension Police's grade 3 builds in general, and it's actually a good card. So I give it a 2 of. The only reason I'm not giving it 3 of is because I don't like putting cards at 3 of unless I only have 2 G guards, and I normally like to have 2 flippies, 1 normal, and then 2 something like this. So this is my 2 of because it's actually a good G guard. And then we have 2 cards I don't know the name of because I was too lazy to figure them out, but for this one I'm going to call them for Sparta. Grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear guard when it attacks. If your vanguard is a grade 3 or greater deity, counterboss 1, soul boss 1, draw a card, and this unit gets plus 5 for the turn. So draws 15k, interesting cost. I give it a 3 of. It seems like a good card. It's a 3 of for me. Then we have another card I don't know the name of. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. I'm gonna call him Peasant Blonde Hair. Auto when it's placed on rear guard. If you have a unit with Adam and its card name on your van and an Eve on your van or rear, counterboss 1, draw a card, and choose a card from your hand and call it to rear. So the reason you would use this is the same as Alan, where you are just using this to hopefully get a draw instead of just calling a unit, because you can just call the unit regularly without wasting the counterblast. I'll give it a 3 of because it can be useful in some scenarios, but I'm not going to run it because it wouldn't be worth it. Then we have Blaze Martial Monk Koukan, grade 3, 200 persona right, 13k base, auto rear. When this unit attack hits, if you have a unit in the overdressed state, draw a card. Why is this thing so cool looking for something Yu's not going to use? Look at it! It looks so realistic. The fire, the feet, the daggers, everything about this looks so realistic. And then he's not going to be used. God damn it. In my opinion, I'm not going to use it either, because an on-hit draw, well, for free, while it is good, one, it requires you to have something in the overdress state, which isn't that hard, but it also requires it to hit. And frankly, I think, while yes, this is the most likely thing that's going to be hit, I normally have 2 units in the overdress state at a time on my front row rears, so yeah, unfortunately, unless they can give a way to give this thing back row attack, Koukan is not really going to be that useful for me, so sorry Koukan, no copies of you for me, but I'll give you a 2 of an anyone else's deck just because you look cool. Then we have card I question the existence of, King of the Deepest Darkness, Vorfilks. Now, if we just ignore his skill, and we just ignore his skill, 10 out of 10 just for the art and the name alone, but unfortunately the skill makes me drop him down to a 5. Grade 4 triple drive 15k base, auto G zone. At the end of the battle, your grade 3 vanguard attack your opponent's grade 3 or higher vanguard. If you have 13 or more soul cards, counterboss 1, discard 5, stride it from your G zone face down on your vanguard circle as stand. So 13 or more soul, that's not hard to hit. But counterblasting 1, that's fine. Discarding 5. And specifically, it has to be a grade 3 that swings. I'm sorry, if I remember correctly, the whole point of banning Daimons, I might be wrong, but it was like to stop Enigmatic Assassin, No Life King BS. How does this fix that problem? Especially because discarding 5 is so much of a hefty cost. Like, okay, if you're No Life Kinging, you might have the cards for this, but god, that is not worth it in my opinion. But then auto when it's put on Vanguard Circle, if you have 13 or fewer soul cards, choose up to 3 critical triggers from one of them, shuffle them into your deck. So, to have the middle ground with this, you have to have exactly 13 soul, so you can get the most benefit out of this. I can see how this can be good for Dark Irregulars, just because like sending 3 cards back is amazing, especially if they're all crits. But discarding 5... No, just no. That's way too far. Run this if you want, but I'm not running this. Then we have our next card. In Storm, Princess of Mayhem, Nirjabyss, grade 4, 15k shield, G-Guard, auto when it's put into guard circle, counterblast 1 for every 10 cards in your soul. Choose one of your opponent's units, and it gets -1 critical for the turn. And if there are 20 more cards in soul, 2 units get -1 critical each. So if you hit 30, 3 units lose 1 critical, so really nice that it can be used as defensive and it doesn't really get shield. So like that's sometimes what I hate about cards, like they only work for shield and sometimes that shield won't be enough to hit over, so being able to lower criticals is really nice. I wish that what the crit heals did, but counter heals did, but okay, sure they don't. Either way, Nirjabyss is really nice, grade 4, and I like it. I'm going to give it a 1 of, I'm not going to give it a 2 of because, you know, situational with the extra crits and stuff, but 1 of is good for me. Then we have Omniscience Dragon Caladrius, grade 4, triple drive, 15k base. This amazing freaking grade 4 Act Vanguard. Once per turn, flip a card in your G zone face up. All your rear guards in the front row get plus 10k power for the turn. At the end of the turn, retire those rear guards. That is so much power, and my big belly deck can abuse it. I'm not even joking with you. Big belly abuses the crap out. That's a free 10k. The numbers I can hit, the hand cards I can draw. Oh great Scott, chicken attack ×2 electric boogaloo, baby. And auto van, when it attacks, counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards with 30k or greater power. Literally, this gives you half of that, and most likely the unit that would have gotten this skill probably is like a 10 or on an Excel circle, so 24k base now. So all you need is just a trigger, or if it's a geograph, it will hit over anyways, and you can use that ability, stand it, and that unit gets auto rear when this unit attacks. If your opponent would call cards from hand to guard circle, they must call 3 or more at the same time. Cool, so even if they start sacking triggers to outlast its numbers, they're still going to have to drop 3 for it. This thing's amazing. I don't need to explain it. Run this out of 4 of and be smart. Then we have Omniscience Dragon Serketavil, grade 4, 15k shield, G Guardian, auto when it's put in guard circle, counterblast 1, discard the top card of your deck and perform the following actions based off the card's type. If it's a normal unit, it gets plus 20k shield for the battle, and trigger unit, choose one of your units that cannot be hit to end the battle. So if you lose out on a trigger, which might be a heal, which you could have miracle healed with, you at least get a PG out of this. And if it's a normal unit, well, this is a 35k shield. I'm so glad we finally got a lottery card that works on your opponent's turn. Not even going to talk about it, and this is a 2 of, or 3 of, or even a 4 of, because it's literally a PG, so take that as you will. Its numbers work everywhere except for the number 0. Then we have Sinful Deeds Lucas, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, continues rear guard during your turn if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Howl in its card name, gets plus 5k power, and auto when is bound from your rear guard circle by the ability of your Vanguard with Howl in its card name, so boss won't add this card to your hand. Okay, adds itself to the hand, and is a 15k swinger. Nothing too special about it. I don't particularly like him, especially in terms of arts, but I do think he's an okay card, so I give him a 2 over 3 of in a Howl deck. Then we have first Aaron Boy Opacho. I swear I thought this card was a Choco Love card when I looked at it, and you can all see why. Grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, auto one's put on guard circle from your hand. If you have a Vanguard Howl in its card name, discard 1, this unit gets plus 15k shield for the battle. So he's a 20k shield. Okay, well, now I'm going to question it. And auto is put on when it's bound from rear guard by the ability of your Howl in its card name. Counterblast 1, add it to hand. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. This is a 4. This is a 4. Bind it, get rid of an opponent's rear guard with the ability of Howl, bounce it back to hand via counterblast, call it, discard, get shield. This thing is amazing. Put out a 4 of. Then we have Voodoo Male Matilda Matisse, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. Auto placed on rear guard if you have a grade 3 greater Vanguard Howl in its card name. Soul blast 1, search your deck or drop zone for 1 trick or treat Jack. Call it to rear guard. If you search your deck, you shuffle it. And when it's bound from rear guard by the ability of your Vanguard Howl in its card name, put it to soul. Cool, way to soul charge to make up for its soul cost and for this one, and not to mention that I can get a free unit out of it. That's what I like about the Howl deck. It gives you so many different combo cards to work with because all of them require you to sack rear guards and bind them. So the fact that we can get a bunch of cards that can call stuff makes them more combo cards, and I like combo cards and they always have perfect synergy with each other. So I gotta think of 4 of in a Howl deck just because it gets you a unit to retire. Then we have Trick or Treat Jack, grade 1 boost, 5k shields, 8k base, auto rear. When placed on rear guard, if there are any Voodoo Male Matilda Matisse on your rear guard, you may draw a card. If you did, you choose a card from your hand, you put it to soul. Okay, so I like this card. If you use Matilda with it, if you have any number of Matildas, you get to draw 1. Unfortunately, you don't get to draw 1 for each, and then soul charge for each, but hey, that would be a bit too good, and this thing would have to be a double rare. So I like Jack, it's really nice, I like its art, I like its skill. I get a 4 of with Matilda, because they are both good. Then we have Sealed Blaze Dragon Samsara, grade 1 boost 5k shield, 8k base, continues rearguard if your vanguard is armed. It gains the following abilities based on what is equipped. Left DD arm, this unit gets plus 5k power, right DD armor gets intercept. Okay, so 13k base and intercepts. I like that. It's definitely a good grade 1, allowing you for Baz Vagar, meaning you can intercept with it, call it back when you arm another card the following turn, gets numbers during your turn, acts defensively and aggressively. I really like this grade 1. I think it's really good. I give it a 4 of. All I do is I wish it had more shield. I really wish this was a spoiler card where it would say on it, if you have central DD arms, because I know it's going to be a thing, get another skill, but it's not a spoiler because Bushy doesn't want to cockblock us. I hate this thing so much just because it denied me the truth that we were getting central DD arms in this set. I mean, we might get it because each scene seems to get 2 cards, so I'm really hoping that we get 1, but we might not. So either way, 4 of it's a really nice card in Baz Vagar. Then we have Cardinal Fang Dida, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. Auto is put on rear guard if your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, counterblast 1 Clay Shadow Army token to rear. Nah, this is kind of like the order, except technically worse and technically better in the sense where, okay, let's see, it has shields and stats, so you can call it to rear. Downside is, you can't search it, and it doesn't do the dex, and while it does have the Shadow Army token, it's not the deck's main gimmick of getting orders, so you can run this out of 2 of, or you could just do what I do and not run it at all. I'm not going to run it at all, just because I don't like it, but if you want to run it, you can run it at 2, just because it does work, and it's like the order, except it's a unit, so take it as you will. Then we have Gravidia Petels, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear. When attacked, this unit boosted hits. Choose up to 2 meteorites from your drop zone and put them to your bottom deck in any order. If you put 2 cards, retire this unit and draw a card. So, net 2 meteors back, and draw, and kill it. You know what, this thing's actually pretty good. Because if you don't put it behind Vanguard, there is pressure that the rear guards will hit, or you might just put it behind Vanguard, because typically whenever I play Gravidia, the rear guards are the one that get blocked. Unless I'm the one playing against it, then I typically block the Vanguard and I take the rear guards. Unless I think 2 crits are coming, then I do the opposite. But, well, if I see it was 1 crit is coming, I mean, that's how I do it anyways. Petals are really good grade 1, especially because they can keep recycling meteors, and I've recently started running into the problem where I will lose meteors very quickly, so 4 of Petals. Then we have Nanda Dragon King, who weaves happiness and good fortune. I expected an actual name, but okay. Grade 4, triple drive, 15k base, active Vanguard once per turn, flip over card in your G-zone face up. Reveal a number of cards from your equal to the number face-up cards in your G-zone plus 2 from the top of your deck. Call all normal units from among them to rear guard circles and add all trigger units from among them to hand. Shuffle the remaining cards to the deck, then activate all trigger effects revealed. So, guarantee the second you use the skill, look at top 3, call every normal unit, then add every trigger to hand, and you get those trigger effects. All I'm going to say is this. Ikikishima hit the ban list for a reason. This is probably going to hit it next. Here's why. Doesn't cost Counterblast, doesn't cost Soul Blast, doesn't cost discards. It may deck you out quicker, but this thing can literally net you a board and get you at least sextuple drive on first stride turn for no cost. This is going to hit the ban list. It's going to hit the ban list. I know it is. I'm saying 4 of. Enjoy it while it lasts, because I'm telling you, it's going to hit the ban list. Then we have multi-layered fence sitter Octagonal Magus, card that isn't broken. Grade 4, 15k shield, auto is put on guard circle. Counterblast 1, declare 2 numbers between 0 and 3 and reveal the top card of your deck. If the grade of the revealed card matches one of the numbers you declare, add it to hand, and if you added a card, this unit gets plus 15k shield for the battle. Basically, you declare if it's, say for example, you declared it was 2 or 3. If it is a grade 2 or 3, add it to hand, and you get plus 15k shield. If not, you just keep it at the top. So, interesting. Okay, so 30k shield can get you a hand card. Granted, it involves some prior knowledge, but this is Oracle Think Tank. We can probably figure it out long beforehand. So, good card. I like it. 2 of. Now we move on to our next card on the list, Deadliest and Craziest Warrior, Lu Bu Fexian. Grade 2 5k shield, 10k base, auto is put on a rear guard circle from your hand if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Valkyrie or has Lu Bu Fexian in its card name. Counterblast 1, you and your opponent reveal the top card of your decks and call into empty rear guard circles. Your opponent's auto abilities do not activate from the call, but guess what? Yours do. So, both the players lose the top card of their decks, but they both get called to rears, and your opponent doesn't get to activate their abilities. And the other ability is continuous rearguard during the battle of the attack. If your opponent's vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, he gets plus 5k power. So 15k swinged. If only it was an auto and an until end of turn ability. I like this card. I think he's interesting. My only thing is I don't know if we have a Lubu Phyrexian Vanguard. I know we have a Lubu Vanguard, but we'll give him a 3 of in case he is a Lubu Phyrexian, but I'm not exactly sure. Then we have Blowback Sasaki Kojo, grade 2 units at 5k shield, 10k base. On the rear, when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, if your vanguard is a grade 3 or greater Valkyrie or Sakai Kojo, and its card name is sold by 1 until end of battle, this unit gets plus 5k power and you cannot intercept. Your opponent cannot intercept. So I know what the next ride line we're getting, and this is a 15k swinger that can prevent intercepts. All around seems like an interesting grade 2. I like it, and I think it's good. We will give it a 3 of, because locking down intercepts is always useful. Then we have Devoting Herself to Hurts. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear. When this unit boosts a rear guard with Sasaki Kurojo in its card name, if you have a grade 3 greater vanguard that is Valkyrie or Sasaki Kurojo in its card name, your opponent chooses a hand card and binds it. Choose a card from their hand and drop zone and binds it. Then if there are 3 or more cards in your bind zone, you may countercharge, soul charge 1. So, free mandatory bind, and you soul charge. So I know what Kojiro is gonna do. It's either gonna bind your stuff, bind your opponent's stuff, or both. And Hindrance is just good. Or Hurts is just good. So 4 of. Because there's no reason not to run that 4. It could also be used in a Valkyrie deck. Then we move on to Aqua Force reveals, which you probably know from Commander Jaime's reveal. I believe this, I say his name right. Anyways, we have first a Blue Furious Charge Dragon, Fuigaris Dragon, Grade 4, Triple Drive, 15k base, Auto Van. At the end of the battle that it attacked, Counterblast 1 and flip over a card in your G-Zone face up, you get an Excel gift, choose up to the same number of your rear guards as the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone, stand them, then choose up to one of your rear guards and move it to an open additional rear guard circle, and it gets plus 10 for the turn. So, you get 2 additional attacks if you kept a unit standing in the back row, and you hit plus 10 on the unit that moves up to that circle. And, not to mention, you can just stand at least 1 unit on first stride. After that, it's at least 3. This card is good. It is incredibly good, and from what I've seen, you can get 12 attacks with this. Because let's see, it's at least 4 without the restands. Counterblast 1, stand 1, swap something, assuming that you didn't boost with the unit at some point. You get 2 more attacks, so at least 6, and that's not counting any other skill besides this one. 4 Fungarius, because restands and numbers are way too good to pass up in Aqua Force. Then we have Rebellious Heavenly Flow General Dineria, Grade 4, 15k shield, G Guardian autos put on guard circle, counterblast 1 and perform one of the following depending on which battle of the turn it is. First battle gets plus 5k shield, okay, so Floatia, but worse because it costs a counterblast. And if it's the 4th battle, more gets plus 20k shield, okay, Ice Flow, but better. So, I don't know how to feel about this, because if it's on the first battle, it is worse than Floatia and Ice Flow. But if it's after the but if it's on the 4th battle, it is better than both. Especially, and the reason why I specify these and not Galphilia is because I don't like Galphilia outside of my Blue Wave deck. So, bye Floatia, 2 of this, 2 of Ice Flow. I have a bunch of shield outside of 2nd and 3rd battle. So, good cards. Now, of course, we got some more reveals, and Sylvanhorn Beast Kamapu, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear when it attacks. If this unit gets plus 2k until the battle for each grade 2 or greater unit in the back row. Okay, doesn't have to attack from back row to get that skill, but it can if it wants to. My only thing with this is the max it's ever going to get is plus 6. So, max of 14 swing without the abilities of any other card, which is okay. It's not horrible. It's not amazing. If you run it in Magnolia because it's free, you can run it at a 2 to 3 of, but there are, in my opinion, so many better other options than this that are also free. So, take that statement as you will. Then we have Outlawed King, Giragamelgos. For those of you that don't know, I'm not a competitive person, clearly, as evidenced by any of my videos. But I think on accident one day I built a competitive Spikes deck. I'm not exactly sure. I just know that Spike deck was 10 times better than any deck I had at the moment. So I'm not so sure if it was just competitive or if it was just that good. But this kind of makes that deck a lot fucking better and makes me think, oh, Spikes are 1 G unit away that will make them top tier in my mind, like Spikes, MVPs, something's hitting the ban list. But let's just go ahead and read over this boy skill. Grade 4, triple jet, 15k base, auto van. When your rear guard attacks, that unit gets plus 10 for the battle. At the end of the battle, put it to bottom. Okay, so let's just go over that first skill. There are minuses and plus to it. First off, let's do the minus. It's a mandatory skill and the unit goes back to deck at the end of the battle. Plus, this is Spikes. You want your rear guard circles in the front row to be open, and they're swinging for plus 10. I don't need to tell you why this is good, because if I do need to tell you why this is good, you should never play Spike Brothers. Either that or you're new to the game. In that case, go watch how to play Spike Brothers and come back to this video. And then we have Auto Van. When it attacks, Soul Blast 1, search after 2 grade 2 units, call and open your rear guard circle, shuffle your deck, and then all your rear guards get boost for the turn. Okay, so giving everyone boost in a deck where you might have a bunch of grade 3s, maybe because you're on Rising Nova Greedon BS, yeah, okay, makes sense. Also, calling 2 grade 2 units, which can turn into a board. Giragamelgos is, I don't even just say it, but just to make it clear, this is a 4 of, like, I'm no Spike main, I'm not a Spike main, but 4 of. That's my argument to you, just 4 of. Then we have Dowagar Empress Villainous Evita. Grade 4, 15k shield, G-Guard. Auto is put on guard circle, counterblast 1, choose 3 normies from your drop. This unit gets their combined shield and done about, and if you chose 1 or more grade 3 units, draw a card, then put all chosen cards from the bottom of your deck in any order. So, I'm not so sure if you get the draw and then put all the bottom. Wait, no, sorry. I know you get the draw only if you put a grade 3, but I'm not so sure if you get all the bottom regardless. But even if you don't, like, first up, I'm pretty sure you do. But, this has the potential just to get the most shield in the game on its own, because let's just assume you got 3 heals in drop. Because, oh, sorry, no, you can't, because that's normal units, my bad. Okay, let's just assume they're all grade 1s. So plus 30, oh, it's only 45, it's not that bad. I think it's still the highest on its own, but that's not that bad. But, you know, netting yourself a draw if you put a grade 3 back, because maybe your draws only has grade 3s, or you just want, you know, grade 3s because you're Morikawa. Draw a card and send stuff back. So, Eveta's really nice. I think it's a nice G-Guard. I'm going to put out a 2 of in my Spike Brothers deck. Then we have X-Law's Lyser Diethol, grade 2, next 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear. When this unit attacks, if you played in order this turn, this unit gets plus 5, and at the end of the battle, shove it to soul, look at top card, put it top or bottom. I don't know what this is for. I assume it's for Horo, because Horo has 2 different order cards, and they're both, it seems like an order deck. Because literally one of the skills of the grade 3 was, I believe, you can play 2 orders a turn, but whatever. Diethol seems like a nice support card for that, and I give it a 4 of, considering it's a free soul, check top, and then a free plus 5, so no reason not to run it at 4. And then we have Death to the Wicked, normal order Marco. Play this card, you have a unit with Marco in its card name. Okay, so this is immediately out of the question. And choose one of your X-Law units. If at end of turn it gets plus 10, so okay, I can give it to this. And auto rear once per turn. When this unit attack hits, stand it. Guarantees it's going to be swinging for at least a 10k drop. Unless it's MO. Nope, even if MOB will be a 10k drop as long as you put on a grade 2, which you probably will. Gets a stand. If it hits, good order. I really hope one of these support cards for Horo is a Marco, because if it is, yay, I can abuse this, even though I'm never going to play Shaman King, or at least I'm not going to play Horo if I do. So, you know, 3 of Death to the Wicked seems like a nice card. I don't know what Marco units we have, because frankly I don't care to check, but if we already have a good Marco line, then good. If we don't, then Bushy, get on that. And now we have Gear Chronicle releases. She has guns and a snipe, like a fucking shotgun. I mean, not a shotgun, like a sniper rifle. I already like her. And she has dual pistols. Oh, I love this card already. Highbrow Steam Shama. I can't say that, but I will attempt to pronounce it again. Sham. Nope, still fail. I will figure out how to pronounce that because I love this card now. Grade 4, triple draft, 15k base, auto once per turn when these two attacks bind a front row rear guard bind a front row unit. Bind a front row rear guard and turn a card in your G zone face up. Okay, free cost of no counterblast or soul blast or discard. Choose up to 2 cards from your bind zone, call in the rear, and all your front rows get plus 10 for the turn. Don't have to call 2. Your front row gets plus 10 regardless, and you can call 2. You gotta boost it the previous ones, because those ones are still hidden unless your opponent starts sacking triggers, get you a free flip, literally get you a call target. Cool, or technically a free restand. And auto G zone at the end of the battle, your grade 3 rear guard attack. If this card's face up in the G zone, soul blast 1, bind that card that attack and call this card to rear guard. So let me get this straight because the way this is worded is so funny. Swing, like have this face up, right? And then, or like have 2 of them face up. On second stride turn, you have this on Van. So swing with your 2 front rear guard circles. Skill of these 2 in the current open G zone. Soul blast 2, bind those 2, call them, granted they have to be 1 at a time. Swing with them again. Vanguard swings, skill, flip, bind this one, or like bind the one that was just called. Then call them back, unless you can't bind G units, then fair enough, but still. I don't need to tell you why this is like a good 3 over 4 or at the very least a 2 of. I'm running this at 4 and I want to hear no arguments from anyone. Then we have Interdimensional Dragon, History Vision Dragon. Grade 4, 15k shield, G guard, autos put on guard circle, discard 1 or more cards on top of your hand being grade 3 or greater, and this unit gets plus 20 for the shield, for the battle. So, discard 1 grade 3, and it immediately becomes a 35k shield. Okay, well, there goes that attack then, unless it's a Vanguard attack. And if you discarded cards with the sum of their grades being 6 or greater, counterblast 1, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit till end of battle. So, it's a PG. It can fuck over Vermilion, and while that's not necessarily an important statement, it is for me where my friend mains Vermilion, so, you know, F you, buddy. You can't stop me now. And, it's just good. 4 of. No, that's a lie. I'm not going to round out a 4 of. I mean, you can if you want. It's like the other one where I said it works at a 1 of, it works at a 2 of, it works at a 3 of, it works at a 4 of, just not a 0 of. My opinion, 2 of, because, you know, like I said before, I like to run flippies and all that stuff. Then again, I might put this down to a 1 of, just because I really like the elude that can send triggers back. But, I will take this as a 2 of, because it's actually fucking good. Also, you can abuse this with the Steam Maiden Ride line. Bushy's real goal was never to make them good in V, it was to make them good in Premium, and they did. And our next card to go over is Heavenly Sickle of Pulses Lee Porden. Grade 3 Twin Drive Persona Ride, 13k base, double rare for presumably Bastion for the Festival Collection. Auto rare when this unit attack hits, counterblast 1, choose one of your other grade 3 units, and it gets plus 10 for the turn. Okay, pluses and minuses to this one. He can give power to another unit if he hits, and it's only for a counterblast. Downside is 1, it has to be another grade 3, 2, it costs a counterblast, which isn't that bad, and 3, it has to hit. So 50-50, but it's not once per turn, so you can abuse it with restand, and I do like how he looks, and I like that passion in his face, so I'll give him a heart 2 of. I don't know why, but the passion he looks at me with makes me think, oh, he can do this, I believe in him, 2 of. Now we have Holy Knight of Exaltude Eulogius. Surprisingly, the day that they released the Keter Sanctuary support card, they released this one too. Grade 4, triple drive, 15k base, auto van. When it swings, counterblast 1, flip a card in your G zone face up. Draw a number of cards from equal to the number of rear guards you have. Call the same number that you drew to rear, and then if you have 5 or more rear guards, you get imaginary, get force. So let's unpack that. First up, it is a mandatory. I'm pretty sure it's a mandatory draw the same amount. If not, it's draw up to, but whatever amount you draw, you're calling, and that's the thing with Agnos. I think a lot of people just ran Agnos just because, you know, free stride after the game, but no one uses its ability because that involves you calling over shit. This one is like, you can use it, you definitely can, but the downside to this is you gotta call over shit. Good side is, you're getting pluses out of it, and you're not really losing that many hand cards because you're just getting them back from this draw, or you're drawing, then you're calling. Downside is you have to call the same amount, so if you have a lot of bad units, you don't really have much choice. But hey, you get a force mark out of it if you actually call down 5, so, or if you get 5 on board. So, good stride, I like it. I'm not gonna say 4 of, I don't know why, I think I like Twin Sword better, but this is a 2 of for me. Then we have Heavenly Sacred Staff, Morghese, grade 4, 15k shield, G-Guard, auto is put on guard circle, choose one of your grade 2 units, and until end of turn it gets 10k shield, and auto, when it intercepts, counterboss 1, soul boss 1, choose one of your units that cannot be until the battle. Cool, so weird thing is, it gives the other unit a shield, which if you combine that with all mod, that's just plus, like, what, 20, or is it 15 or 20k shield to a unit? I forgot if alt mod gives 10k shield or 5k shield. If it gives 10k shield, then it's 20. If it's just 5k, then it's plus 15. But Morghese basically makes alt mod grade 2 so much better, and literally just a free PG. So, or not a free PG, a counter blast soul blast PG. So what I'm getting from this is this. Every G-Guard every deck is going to get one of two things. Either a really good G-Guard that just has a PG skill, or gives someone a PG skill. A really good Stride that is broken, or will be broken. Talking about you, Oracle Think Tank. Or somewhere in between where they have some good Strides and some good G-Guards in the case of Big Belly, for example. Or like Great Nature. So, yeah, pretty good card. I'm not sure if I want to run this or not, because Counterblast and Soul Blast seem to be my main weakness. I'm not mainly Counterblast, but mainly Soul Blast, but I'll give it a 2 of just for the benefit of the doubt. Then we have Poison Fumes, Mutant Deity, Malgenitus. That struck me so hard to not say genitals. Grade 4, triple drive, 15k base. Act, Vanguard, or G-Zone. Wow, since I've seen one of those skills. Once per turn, if it's on Van, it can be paid with a cost to flip over a card in G-Zone face up instead. If it was on G-Zone when you use the skill, you counterblast 1 and put a rear guard to Soul, and you choose one of your opponent's standing rear guards and kill it. And if the card was retired, you draw a card countercharge, and if it was not retired, you choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and they lose 10k. So if you killed a unit, you just get to draw. And you get a soul. Okay. And if you didn't kill a unit because your opponent has rested all of their units, or you rested all of their units, their Vanguard loses 10k. And you can use from both Van and G-Zone. I'm not so sure if it's a once per turn per card, or if it's just once per turn in general, but the fact that it doesn't say it's a named once per turn makes me think that if you have a copy on Van and a copy in G-Zone, you can abuse the shit out of this. This card reminds me of Venom Stinger. 4 of. Also, I find when we get a non-broken fucking Meg Colony Stride that I actually like because it's good and it doesn't slow down the game. I'm talking about you, Gridora. Anyways, on to our G-Guard. Restraining Mutant Deity, Crew-webale. Grade 4, 15k shield, G-Guard, autos put on guard circle, counterblast, soul blast 1, and this unit gets plus 30 shield. Okay, so let's just stop right there. If they stopped it right there, this would be a triple rare, and Mega Colony would hands down have the best G-Guard in the entirety of the game, but okay. And or one of the best G-Guards. And your opponent can choose any number of their rear guards and rest them. For each unit rested, they lose 10k. This unit loses 10k shield. Okay. So they can sacrifice their units to lower your shield value. Here's the thing though, no one in their sane mind is going to do that unless they know that they're dead the next turn, and this is their chance to kill you. But even then, most of the time, you're either going to pull this out of the very last attack where they have very little to rest, or when you would pull this out, they probably won't freaking rest rear guards because it ain't worth it, especially because you can just pull out a second one and fuck you can't do shit. So, Crew-webale. It is the most good G-Guard in Mega Colony. The downside is the second ability is not going to make a difference unless your opponent's like, I can stand my board back up. That's okay if I start resting it. 2 of or 3 of, because you want that 45k shield. Then we have God of Destruction and Creation Shiva, grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 10k base, continues guard circle if your Vanguard's a grade. If your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 guard and your Vanguard is a God, this unit gets plus 5k shield. God, I want a Shiva Rideline. Ever since playing Uncharted 4 Lost Legacy, I've seen Senju from Battle Spirits. I love creatures with 4 arms, and this bastard Shiva seems to have 4 arms, so I really want to see a Shiva Rideline and have it something to do with standing. I would love to see a Shiva Rideline that has to do something with standing. Then we have our Attendant Hermes. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Autos placed on rear. If you have a Vanguard God, look at the top card of your deck and you put it atop or into your soul. Cool. Free look. I'm not so sure if I want this or not, but I say it's a good 2 of just because he can deck stack for you and get soul. For the record, small thing before I end this quote-unquote segment of like the 4-part/5 parts I've had to record of this. I'm at 52 slides right now, the thing I'm using to record this on, and we're not even on Tuesday yet, so... Yep, but she's really overloading me with reveals here, so hopefully I don't go into an hour again, which I definitely will.
And Jesus Christ, I am surprised we made it to this point because there are so many cards now. Excuse my shitty commentary as I finished it up with our last few reviews for today. First up, we have the new rider from Shaman King, Iron Maiden Jane. To reduce the evil of this world, Iron Maiden Jean, or John, I don't really know, I'm gonna call it John just because it reminds me of John Dark. Grade 0, boost, 5k shield, 6k base, auto is rolled upon if you want second draw a card. Nothing special about it, standard starter. Interesting close up on the face though. Then we have Tortured Princess Iron Maiden John, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto is rolled upon by Absolute Judgment. Iron Maiden John, look at top 5, choose to 1 unit card with Shamash or X-Laws in its card name. For a 1 reveal, put it to your hand and shuffle your deck. Okay. So what this one seems like to me is just by looking at the grade 1 alone, this seems like a deck that will use the X-Law support cards and Shamash support cards, and because the last X-Law I saw was an order-based card, that means we have an order. Then we have Absolute Judgment, Iron Maiden John. Grade 2, Intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when it's rolled upon by Oath of Salvation, Iron Maiden John. Put the top card of your deck into your damage zone, face down, and choose a card from your damage zone, put it to your hand. Why are we getting Angel Feather skills in non-Keter Sanctuary decks? I literally said I wanted an Angel Feather skill in Keter Sanctuary, we did not get that. Or just an Angel Feather ride line. And then continues rear guard during turn, this unit gets +2. The second ability obviously is nothing to write home about, but the first ability is interesting to say the least because it nets you a free card from damage zone, so it's a good ride-on card, so one of in the right deck. Then we have Oath of Salvation, Iron Maiden John, grade 3 200 Persona Ride, 13k base. I actually like this art outside of the background. Act Vanguard, once per turn, card plus 1, search after 1 Iron Maiden Order card, reveal it, put it to your hand and shuffle your deck. Cool, so search your deck for the thing that literally supports half your deck if you're using X-Lock, core. And then Oversoul, act Vanguard once per turn, carry plus 1, put a rear guard or Shamus in its card name into your soul, and this unit gets Auto Van. When this unit attacks, choose to 1 card with Shamus in its card name from your soul, call to from a rear guard circle, and that unit gets plus 15k power and crit for the turn, until end of turn. What was the point of saying that twice? Anyways, that's really good. You know, you get to search an order, you can put your main Oversoul unit into Soul, and then give this thing the ability to call it out and give it more power and critical. The downside is she doesn't get any pluses off of it, which I think would be a nice little way to make her better, like maybe just she gets an extra crit, or maybe she just gets 10k. But either way, John's still nice and I like it. It's an interesting grade 3. It gives us a new take on only supporting the unit that goes to Soul instead of just the unit that is using the skill for Oversoul, so 4 of Iron Maiden John. And for some reason she reminds me of John Dark, like I said earlier, I don't know why. Then we have To Absorb the Pain of This World. Grade 3, Normal Order, Iron Maiden. If you have a Vanguard or John and its card name, play it by Soul Blasting 1. Choose to 1 Shaman card from your drop, call it to rear. Then if you have 2 more rear guards with X-Laws in their card name, choose one of your Vanguards until end of turn. It gets plus 5k power, and all of your rear guards with X-Laws in their card names get boost. One, how many X-Laws do we have that we can use this with? Because that's a lot of things that could get boost. Not to mention the Vanguard can get plus 5. So I question, how many cards actually have X-Law now? Because that's like, and that's one thing too. This is the first deck, to my knowledge, or to my memory in Shamans, that revolves around 2 different things. 1, the thing that goes to Soul for Oversoul, in this case Shamish, and 2, the actual main deck core, which seems to be X-Laws. Because I know none of these are X-Laws. And I know we did get a few X-Laws yesterday, or a few days ago, I don't really remember, I've lost track of time. So, this seems good. I'm not so sure how many X-Laws we have, but I'm going to go for right now, put this at a 4, just because you can search it. And you want to see this as much as possible, just in case the games last that long. Then we have God's Authority Shamish. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto, when this unit is put from your rear guard into your soul for the cost of your Oversoul, choose to 1 Shaman from your drop zone, call it to rear. Yep, that's good. So, send this to Soul from the ability of this thing, call something else from drop, this gets an on-swing, call this thing to the same column, gets 15k and a crit, which I now realize it's critical is 0 because now I'm paying attention to all these skills and base numbers and all that stuff, so yeah, I like this card, I think it's interesting, so 4, obviously, because it's actually really good support for Iron Maiden John. Then we have Cardinal Prince Regio, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear. When your Shadow Army token is retired from rear during this turn, this unit gets plus 5 for the turn. That can be abused in so many ways, because the dragon that restands, well, I think the common thing we don't have with that one is that one attack isn't as big as the others. Yeah, that's the case, but hey, you know, Haley's makes them bigger because this will turn into a 23k booster, so Regio is pretty good. So I don't know how. I'm not going to spoil it in a second, but 3 copies for now. And now, before I go to the last card that we have, I want to say I don't think any of us are surprised by the fact that this next card is Orphist. I have not read Orphist. I saw a glimpse of its skill as I was putting it into Discord and copying it onto here, so I hope it's good. So this is going to be my first reaction to Orphist. Cardinal Dominus, Orphist Regius. Grade 3 Twin Drive, Persona Right, 13k base. This thing looks badass as hell, but of course it looks more like Chaos Breaker Dragon than anything else. Auto, when it's placed on Vanguard Circle, choose up to 1 overworld card from your hand or drop and put it to your order zone. Oh my god, yes! Yes, that is good. I think one of the main things Orphist has a problem with is that you can always search an order, but you might end up with one in drop zone because maybe you damage checked it and then you healed it out, or maybe a copy ended up in hand you want to use as discard fodder. Because I remember my friend, when he played Orphist one time, he was so cocky. He was like, oh, I have an order in hand, I'll see another one because I have 8 orders. Puts an order into order zone because he searched from the starter, not from starter, from the grade 1, and then discard an order for ride deck of grade 2. He didn't see an order, and I literally won the game because he couldn't do Shadow Army token plays. So, this saves him because he can just now fetch an order from drop. And then Auto Van, when this unit attacks, if your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, counterblast 1, discard 1, and for every 2 world cards in your order zone, call to 1 Shadow Army token of rearguard, and that unit gets plus 5k power. Oh my god, that's so good. Because Orphist has so many alternate ways to call Shadow Army tokens, it's only a counterblast now, it's only a discard, and the best thing is, yeah, it's for every 2 worlds, but this fits my style perfectly, because I think I'm one of the only people who I will constantly put orders into the order zone, even if I don't have to. So this thing fits me so well. And you can put so many of them into the order zone just by placing it. Because I'm pretty sure it's like 2 per turn, not the order rule, but like, if you put a card into order zone that's different from placing it from hand. So Orphist, if someone correct me on that if I'm wrong, but Orphist Regius is really good. This is a really good skill, and if Zorg has anything to say about it, this thing is going to be amazing. 4 of Regius. Screw the original Orphist. Screw the original Orphist entirely. 4 of this boy. And that's it for the reveals of this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm checking Discord now to see if I have any more reveals, but I'm pretty sure I don't have any more reveals to go over. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to Patreon, join Discord, follow the Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.